Everyone, welcome to Living and Learning. I'm Allison Kinnear, and today we are talking about kind of a dicey subject. We are talking about punching down. And what do I mean by punching down? What I mean by that is when we as humans don't process our anger, our fear, our shame, our sorrow, when we don't process that in healthy ways for ourselves, then those emotions have no place to go. So we either implode and we just absorb it all, or we explode and we put it out on others. This is why animal abuse, child abuse, domestic violence, road rage, trolls on the internet, it is instead of processing emotions in healthy ways, they get spread out and attacked. They begin to come out towards other people. But it's interesting. They go out towards people that you can kind of punch down on, not necessarily people you can punch up on. So, what I mean by that is that there's a power differential. So, I may get mad at my husband, but instead of talking to my husband directly, I might yell at the kids or yell at the dog. We may be feeling frustrated about a situation at work, and we're really like blaring on the horn on the way home when we all used to commute. These are ways that, the children, animals, strangers that we don't know, this is why anybody who's worked in a restaurant will tell you that some people just come in and dump all their anger and rage on you. Restaurants, grocery stores, post offices, right? Like oftentimes people in the service industry can be on the receiving end of stuff that is not about them. And this is not about not holding people accountable. Accountability is one thing. But what I'm talking about is just when our anger, when our fear just gets like targeted towards someone that we perceive consciously or unconsciously to be below us, to be less of a threat. Because if you punch up to somebody perhaps more empowered than you, you might fear that retaliation. So people tend to punch down to people they can. Hello, Emma from Australia. Reunited. Yay. Good to see you. So the reason why I'm talking about this is because we've been talking about the school year, and people in my district anyway, there is no going back to school at the moment. It's all virtual and all online. And what I'm seeing in the social media comments are a lot of attacks towards the school district, towards teachers, towards administrators around how am I going to do this? How am I going to work a full-time job and make sure my child gets educated? Like, what can we do here? So what's happening is that there's also some aggression that's coming out that sounds like, well, I guess I'm the teacher, so do I get a salary from the school district? Those kinds of comments. I'm also just seeing like some people are imploding, right? Thinking about how are we going to cope with this? And some people are exploding by directing their comments towards teachers and administrators. And here's the thing that especially for those of you who are in the States, those of you who are in hotspots, Isabel, hey, hi, yay. For those of you who are doing this virtual learning and maybe have been living in hotspots around the country for a while now, is that we may want to believe that we have gotten used to the whole coronavirus, right? Like that we've gotten used to this way of living, this way of being. But it's still new. It's still not yet 6 months old in our country. So, or just about. So we are about to encounter a school year that is unlike any other school year we've had to encounter. Even when schools shut down in the spring, we're going to encounter holidays like we haven't before. We're going to encounter a lot of things like we haven't. And we may be so tired of the grief associated with COVID-19. We may be sick and tired of having to continue to be confronted with it. But it's really hard to be angry at a virus that is invisible. It is more um, appealing to direct that frustration towards other humans. And we have to be really careful of that in our families and for our teachers. We have to remember that our friends, our families, our teachers, we are allies. We are all on the same team, and we're all trying to figure this out, and we're all trying to work through this together. But there will be a period of mourning, a period of grief, when we are not getting what we wanted, what we thought, what has happened. We're all going to be in collective grief. And in that collective grief, there can be denial, there can be anger, but we have to remember that not to take it out on our allies and the people who are really trying to support. And for the people who are going, well, teachers had all year to figure this out. Teachers have been doing something for a really long time, and they are having to build the ship while they fly it. They're having to build the airplane while they fly it. And so, yes, they had some time, more time than in the spring when they had no time. But there's going to be some of you who may feel like, oh, the teachers aren't doing enough. They're not really teaching enough. And others who might be like, oh my gosh, there's so much here. Like, how are we going to keep up? And we may feel like lashing that out, but the key is to remember that this could be grief showing up as anger and blame. And we have to do our best to process our emotions about what we have lost, and to do what we can about navigating our fears, and to do what we can to take care of that before we give the feedback. Because our teachers and administrators and other people in our lives are going to need feedback around how they can best support, because they're taking a best guess. We don't know. We haven't done this before. And yes, we've been doing it for 6 months, but we haven't done this before, not to the level that we're going to be walking into with the school year, to be walking into when it comes to the holidays, like, not to freak y'all out, but just to say, you may be tired of grief, but grief may not be tired of you. It still might be happening. And so to give yourself that grace, give your child that grace, give your teachers and families and friends that grace, because we're all trying to figure this out still. And it sucks to be in the unknown. We don't like being in unknown. We want to know what we're doing every single time. We want to be in control, and we want to know. But the time of unknown is going to continue. And it's probably going to continue until around March of next year, because then we will have completed a full calendar year knowing how to navigate things. But it's going to get messy, and messy is okay. Just take care of what you need to do on the inside to care for that messiness. I'm seeing Sarah implosion here. Yes, I hear you, Sarah. Hi from New York. Shara, amen. Thanks for this. Teachers and staff need all our support. Yes, we and Emma, yes, we're all in it together. No one is above this. We all are dealing with this, even in Australia, where it's so much better than here. It's still something that we all have to live with. And we're doing it differently now, and different doesn't have to be bad. Great point, Shara. Absolutely. We have to have a loss of normal, like grieving of normal. And one step at a time. Don't grieve that yet for Halloween or whatever. Like, right now it's just the school season, and we can grieve that and then go, okay, what can I do? What's working? What's not working? Yes, an emotional exhaustion on a brand new level. Absolutely, Sarah. Whether you have kids in school or not, we are all mounting with that emotional exhaustion. And so that means we may not be showing up as our best, and the people around us also may not be showing up as their best, including our children, including everyone on this planet. We're all in different stages in this. We all have maybe various levels of resources available, but that emotional exhaustion and the depth and the persistence of that is pretty powerful and pretty potent, and none of us are immune to that. And so doing our best, this is when caring for ourselves, caring for our hearts and our souls and our minds becomes of the utmost importance. And yes, we need to continue to work and produce and do things, but also to remember, like when we get into worry and when we're starting to blame people, and if you find someone as your target and you've got your glinty hammer of self-righteousness and anger and you just want to bash them with it, pause. Pause. That is a moment to go, I might be feeling some emotions that want to be felt. What am I feeling right now? Is it anger? Is it fear? Is it shame? Is it all of that? Is it sadness? Okay, let me feel this. And then you can pick up that hammer again if you need to. I mean, you know, you can think about, is there an accountability? Is there a boundary crossed? It's something along those lines. But really to take the moment to pause will help you be able to navigate all this uncertainty more powerfully and with more sanity for yourself and those around you. So please, please, please do not target our teachers and administrators. Yes, hold them accountable to things, but do not, our education system used to provide childcare, education, social stimulation, and more. And right now, social stimulation is gone, childcare is gone, and they are just trying to provide this little bit of education, but in a way that children don't necessarily learn best. So it's going to get funky. And that's okay. We're all in the funk together. So just keep that in mind, because we're getting upset about not having childcare and not having social interaction, and that has nothing to do with your teachers and schools. Whew. I'm on my soapbox today, people. All right. I will leave you with that. Thank you all so much for tuning in and for your comments. I will see you. Oh, I will not see you next week because I am heading to the mountains and the ocean. So I will be there, but I will see you the following week. All right. So I wish you a wonderful week of composting your feelings, getting them nice and composted and fertile for what is to come, and not to take them out or punch down on others. Leave you with that. Have a wonderful week. Bye.